Hi guys, and welcome back to another weekly watchlist video with me, Connor. Today I'm going to be taking you through a number of setups I'm looking at next week, and then also to start off with take you through two of the trades I'm currently in, and also the gold trade that I took last week, which is my new record trade. So to start off with, I'm going to take you through CAD JPY and why I'm currently in this trade. I have been in this trade since last week, as I hadn't traded in it already, and then I was looking for a scaling. So now I'm just sort of watching price with my scaling as my region got tagged out in profit. So now, as you can see, we've got this trend line that's developed one touch, two touch, and sort of just hovering, and break. So you can see here we have this fib with this 0.786 Fibonacci level. We're not breaking through this level, we're not breaking through this 83 resistance level, and now we're sort of just waiting for price. Obviously, price made this new low to come back up, so now we're just looking for price to reject this area and come down, which we are seeing here, this rejection. Excuse me. So from here, we've obviously had this massive bearish candle, and now we're just looking for price to continue in that direction. Obviously, towards the end of last week, we see a lot of liquidity taken out of the market, so now we're just sort of waiting to see if this can come down further. If we come through this 82 level, I'm hoping we can come down to our minus 0.27 extension, and then possibly long term we could look at swinging this a lot further, so possibly 80 or even the very lows down here. So with this, I'm just sort of waiting with my scaling now, lower risk than normal as it was a scaling, just seeing where this goes. The other trade I'm in is dollar Swiss, and this one's been a little bit frustrating. Another one I got tagged out within a couple pips profit after sort of could have caught 100 pips, but that's part of swing trading, I guess. I did take out a little bit of my profit, but not the majority of it. So we have this channel here, we broke this channel, come up, retested the 0.786, couldn't break it, come down, retest trend line, couldn't break it, so went back up, retested, come down, and then we had this bit here. So now we can see price made sort of a double bottom. When we look at DXY, we can see the DXY has made a very similar move, so it's not surprising. So what we're seeing here is I could have took some profit at this region here, this level here, which I should have took a bit more than what I did. I only took a small percentage, and then we sort of saw price come all the way back up, back for this site level, and then back up. So maybe we'll retest the 0.786 coming further down. So it'll be interesting to see how this one looks come over the next few days. But that's the other trade I'm in. Now I'm going to take you through the gold trade that I took last week. So I haven't traded gold in a while. It's something that naturally can be very, very volatile, very risky, and obviously actually teaches you a lot in terms of other pairs and the correlations. And as we know, and as I've reiterated a couple of times now, it's important to understand the correlations between different pairs. Here we have one touch, two touch, three touch, fake out, back in, fake out again, and then we can see where we entered. So if we just zoom in, we can see why I trade this was. So I've been analysing gold for a while now. I've been analysing it only, not trading it for a while now. I feel like it's important to make sure that you're staying aware of sort of these significant pairs like gold. It's obviously going to show you what's going to happen in the future. So with this, obviously, I was having a good week. I really liked this move. I just sort of wanted to see if I could get into it, and naturally it might have been because I was a little bit less busy that day, so I was looking a little bit in the market, see if there's any other opportunities. I just really like this trade, so let's go through it. So like we said with this trend line, I had the fake out before. We see a lot of fake outs of gold, so we see quite often. So then here we can see we have another fake out. So we have bullish emerging to break through, the spinning top, then we have this hammer candle, and then we have this big bearish engulfing to break back in, break back through the 50 EMA, and then we have this retest, and then we have the candle that sort of made my trade. So as you can see here, this is on the daily time frame, but what's significant here is if we drop down to the 4 hour first, we can actually see that the majority of pips were made within a couple of hours. That's the important thing with gold, that it moves so quickly that you can easily make a week's worth of pips with one trade. So over here we had the fake out, so it came in the daily, and what we have here is this breakout, back in, out, back in, retest, and I entered around 1485. Obviously had this sort of support level, 70 pips away at 1478, and then I actually took profit around, it wasn't quite here, I think it was around this region, like 1470, so it was like 270 pips, which is my new record trade. I should have held it realistically for a little bit longer, as we can see it come down a lot further than that, but there we go. I still got record trade, still happy, still profit at the end of the day, and obviously profit's more important than anything, and obviously learning. So that was a really nice trade that I took, and obviously with this massive move, I think there's going to be a lot of momentum, and obviously that should carry through this week. So we can probably look on the weekly and see sort of how big of a move. Yeah, exactly. Look how big that candle is. There's going to be a lot more pressure. So now let's move on to the DXY. Obviously we know the inverse relationship between DXY and gold. As gold is an anti-dollar pair, people tend to go to gold instead of the dollar. Of course, because gold holds its intrinsic value, people tend to go to gold because it's sort of a safe haven. So now let's look at the DXY. So come off the weekly, go back on the daily. Well, we can see from the weekly here, a massive week for the dollar, off of this 50 EMA as we've hovering on there for the last few weeks. So let's look. So like I was saying, dollar Swiss, we have the channel as we've had for weeks now, and eventually broke out the channel, and now we've formed this double top formation on the daily, and now we're actually into our Fibonacci regions, a little bit of liquidity here, but now we're into our Fibonacci regions. So now I'm looking for rejection off of either the 0.618 or the 0.786, and I'd be surprised if we can sustain above 98 and go further up. Personally, I feel like we will come down and make another move down. So with this, let's move on to the pairs I'm looking at for the week. So we see my watch list here as always. We can get rid of gold now, just for now. So let's look at Australian dollar yen. So I think I went through this one last week, but obviously because I'm analysing the daily time frame, sometimes the moves will take a little bit longer than anticipated. But it's always key to look at these setups because these are the ones that are going to make us the higher pips and get them swing trades. So you can see, so you can see here on the daily, we have this channel that's formed after this breakout. So what I'm seeing here is 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch. So now I'm looking for price to break through this channel, come down to our golden pocket region, and then make a move to the upside using our head trader strategy at RYF. So once again, third touch, break through this pattern, this corrective phase, come down. Obviously we do have this 50 EMA, so we might even interact with one of our smaller time frame, one of our smaller fibs, so for example 0.382. Let's have a look how that fits in with this. So it's still below it, but something we could look at. So I'd rather have a deeper retracement, and then obviously after this we'd look to come up to one of our one of our minus extensions. So that's what I'm looking at. Australian dollar yen to come through, break out of this correction, retest one of our, test one of our Fibonacci zones levels. Obviously, deeper retracement, the better for us, and then we'll look to take this long. Let's look at Australian dollar US dollar. So similar moves to last week, hasn't really moved too much except for the fact that it's broken through this key support that I have listed of 0.68751. So what we're seeing is obviously this channel. Obviously with the dollar becoming quite strong, it's obviously shown in this last candle here. So what I'm looking at here is naturally with gold sort of, I think I went through it last week, that obviously gold is correlated highly with the Australian dollar and New Zealand dollar because these are significant producers of gold. So once again, our currency correlation is so important. So with this, obviously, if the price of gold increases, Australian dollar increases, and as you know, as the price of gold increases, the price of the US dollar decreases. So here, what I was looking at last week was, because I was expecting gold to increase, was to break through and come up. Obviously, we didn't see that, we saw a rejection. So then the other possibility was that we're going to come down to the bottom of the channel. So we broke it through the 0.68750 fib, so it's 0.68750 support level, which is now resistance. So if we get a retest, then we'll look to come down further to our 0.67 or our bottom of our channel, or possibly this liquidity area here. So that's something to watch out on. Obviously we could reverse and come back up, but I think obviously with the momentum last week, I think this will carry forward. CAD Swiss, something I don't look at too often, but here we can see we have this trend line that's developed here, and now we've had a fake out of the trend line, and we've got this head and shoulders formation forming. So you can see left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and now we want to see rejection, and then obviously if we get our tools up, there we go. Oh, I've already got on there. So we've got this here, our neckline, and then if we break through the neckline, get retest, it'd be quite nice to take this short. So obviously we have got this counter trend line here, so we'll look for a right shoulder, break a neckline, which will break through this, and then retest, and then we could come down to the bottom of the channel. So looking at shorts on there off of this head and shoulders, and off the trend line here. So now we move on to Euro Australian dollar. So in this case we actually have an inverse head and shoulders. I think it's much clearer on the 4 hour, so let me go into the 4 hour. So obviously we are in this channel, as you can see we're in this channel, trend line broke, and then we can see the massive move after. So looking at current price action, we can see we've got this inverse head and shoulders possibly forming, so left shoulder here, head, and then I'm looking for a right shoulder rejection 0.5 fib to go long on this pair. So with this, obviously this is just my forecast. I reckon a right shoulder, and then we could possibly take this higher. If we do, then we're looking for this channel or one of our minus Fibonacci extensions. So that's Euro Australian dollar. Euro CAD. Okay, here we go, Euro CAD. So as you can see, we've got this trend line that we've got broken. We haven't really done too much since. We've got this liquidity region here that we sort of started developing another trend line, but now the significant part is we made this higher. We come down, we're sitting on 0.618 field. We can see we're just sitting on it. So now what I'm looking for is a break out of this counter trend line, and then look to go up to sort of a minus 0.37 or minus 0.618 fibs. So once again, we've got this channel, this trend line here. We've come up, broke through this, made a new higher, and now we're looking for a Fibonacci rejection of the golden pocket 0.618, and then a break through this counter trend line, and then look to go to one of our extensions. So next we've got Euro Yen. Euro Yen I went through last week, same setup as we haven't really moved. So we've got this trend line, long-term trend line, got broken here, made a new high, and now we're looking for that retracement before taking it long. So looking at this coming down to our ideal region would be 0.618, but obviously if we do look at our 0.382, I think it matches quite nicely with this sort of high here. Yep. So you can see if we do get a retrace of 0.618, it'd be perfect because we've got this trend line touch as well, and the retest of this trend line as well. But we could see us come down to 0.382, but obviously deeper retracement would be more ideal. So I'm looking for minus 0.27 or minus 0.618 Fibonacci extension target profit regions with 123.755 support. So that's what I'm looking at here. So as we can go through our strategy, breakout trend line, made a new high, and now we're looking for a retracement into one of our Fibonacci levels before looking to take this long into one of our extensions. So could be possibly quite a strong week for the euro. Okay, euro dollar. So as you can see, like we saw with the DXY formed a double bottom, and therefore with the inverse correlation euro dollar, it's no surprise we see a double top on the euro dollar. So here we see double top coming to our Fibonacci, and actually here we've come through and closed below our 0.786 fib. So in this case it sort of invalidates the fib, but if we can break back into it, it still could be valid, and then we can look to long up to the top of the channel or the minus 0.7 fib, and also a bit of liquidity here as well. So we can see how we're going to react at this Fibonacci or even the 1.1 weekly support, which is obviously a very strong key level. And we do have some liquidity here as well, so buyers are likely to come around this region. So if we don't look to go long here, we can look to go long down here. Moving on to pound Aussie, similar setup to Euro JPY. We're looking for that correction into the channel and then looking for Fibonacci. So if we pull up our Fibonacci, wrong way. Oh, here we go. sorry, Fibonacci's already on there. Just need to move over a little bit. Okay, so as you can see, made this new high, and now we're looking for a retracement down here to 0.618, which should be our ideal region, and then we want to see a rejection off of the 0.618 fib, the liquidity area here, and then also this 50 EMA. If we can try and see the 50 EMA sort of come down and just sort of stay around the level it is at now, and that could be another added confluence. Obviously you can see a couple of wicks here, and I think that would be quite a nice trade to take. Pound Aussie long, pound yen, same setup. We're just seeing sort of this consolidation zone here. If I get my drawing tool, wrong one. We can see we're just sort of consolidating at the moment in this region here. So we want to break out, come down, touch the what Fibonacci is it here? 0.618 Fibonacci, touch this liquidity area here, and then come up and go long. And we know pound yen moves quite quickly, so I've used to trade quite a lot. I don't really trade it too much these days with all the speculation, but like I said, it could be quite a nice trade to take long potentially, and obviously we do have the 50 EMA depending on whether this sort of starts to come back down a little bit. And then now moving on to New Zealand dollar. So here we've got this sort of channel that's forming. If we get rid of this trend line here, so you can see, made this channel, made this new high. Now retrace. Now we're in our 0.618 fib. So we can interact with one of our fibs. We can interact with the 0.63 at key level, and then possibly take this long up to one of our levels, Fibonacci levels, whether it's 0 on top of this channel or minus 0.27. However, obviously we did say the dollar is looking strong this week, so you might see this break back down, break through this counter trend line, and then retest the monthly trend line at the bottom. USD CAD, same setup as last week, except we actually have seen a breakthrough of this trend line, which has, and now we're sort of seeing this retracement. If we put our Fibonacci onto it, wrong one. Put 1 here, 0 here. Okay. So what we can see here, if we zoom in, is we've actually come down to this high here, new low formed. Now we're looking to retrace into our 0.618 or 0.786 Fibonacci levels, and then see a rejection from here. And what I want to see is a rejection from here, and then a break through this trend line, retest our support level here, and then look for that longer term move, which we can see if we zoom out. We can see this here. So rejection off one of our Fibonacci levels, break through this trend line, retest, and then come down for a longer term move, which will be massive. Same move I've been anticipating for weeks, but we're getting closer and closer. And now we have sort of got this ideal setup to look to go short. And then finally, your dollar yen. So just wanted to sort of cover this one because last week I said I was looking for a deeper retracement than what we found. So here what we had was, we've got two fibs here. If I just hide this one for a second. So as you can see, there was this fib that I wasn't really looking at as small short term, but we had here was, we was at here. So this has got 0.5 fib, we've got the 50 EMA, and then we could have gone further. I was looking for more of a retracement down further, but we had got this, so nice little setup, 0.5 fib, 50 EMA, push up, and then a 0 Fibonacci level, take some profits, and you let it go to the 0.27. But if we go back onto the weekly, just get that Fibonacci back. Okay, so I was looking for a retracement into one of these levels here, but we didn't quite get that. So now what I'm going to be looking for is see how we interact with this level, this liquidity zone here, see if we come down for a further retracement, and see what happens here. And that's all of the pairs for this week. So hopefully we can catch some more moves this week. Obviously last week was very corrective, so there wasn't really too much to look at, sort of just setting up for them higher long-term moves. And that's the importance of trading, that you've got to learn that it's about patience and about finding them high probability moves. So I'll see you guys in the next video, and have a great week, and tag me in any setups that you managed to catch.